Manchester United forward, that is Anthony Santos, is back in Manchester. Remember, he flew back to Brazil to see to it that he sorts his problems, and finally it looks like he's going to sort his problems and he needs to face the police in Manchester. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. It's really a very good day and we are all charged to obviously bring you this live stream. Remember, it has become a habit of us, or it has become a norm of us coming in here and obviously bringing you the latest news and information as far as Manchester United is concerned through a live video, because I got to know that sometimes you people need to interact with me and sometimes I really don't go on and bring you the best that you deserve. So I've decided to obviously have some time spared for you to come live and talk to you onto this moment. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic stay where you are. We thank God for the gift of life, and for the Muslims, we thank Allah for the gift of life. Now, we are having a very huge start of Rasmus Hojlund and Hannibal that's going to excite everyone. And Ten Hag has gone ahead and obviously had something to say about Hannibal Garnacho into the mix. So let's see close to 300 likes smash on this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Anthony Santos is back in Manchester, and that's what you're obviously going to tackle this evening. And let's start it off with a story that was broken by the man himself, that is Paul Hurst. Paul Hurst is a reporter for the Times covering Manchester United, meaning that he's a correspondent for Manchester United for the Times. He said, Anthony flew back to England from Sao Paulo on Tuesday and has agreed to meet Greater Manchester Police over allegations of abuse. Sources said that Anthony is willing to surrender his phone to the Great Manchester Police to help them with their investigations. That is it. Now, we also have a story coming in from TalkSport. Anthony has returned to UK after police in Brazil confirmed they do not require any further information from him. He has voluntarily agreed to meet with Greater Manchester Police for questioning and will hand over his phone for inspection. That is TalkSport for you, also confirming to us that Anthony is back in Manchester. Now, him being back in Manchester really looks like a breather. You know, sometimes when a player like him is going through certain problems, you obviously feel like he has not been performing well for the club, but you all understand that there has been a void in his absence here, because the manager Erik ten Hag's job has been hard. It has been hard. Having two players out because of not being injured and having a deficiency in that position to reach an extent that the manager is playing Pelestri is really one of the indications that the manager never wanted it to go this way. And for Anthony, when he was in Brazil, he had to meet the police there and obviously sort everything out. Now he's waiting for the verdict on how the police is going to obviously hear him out as far as this case is really concerned. But that has gone ahead to obviously spill off a very huge question mark on when Anthony is set to return to the club of Manchester United. But we don't know when this is going to end, because him meeting the police in Manchester and surrendering his phone doesn't put this to a halt. All we know is that it's just at the beginning of this, and we might still miss Anthony for some months, because when the Greater Manchester Police says that we want also to talk to the girlfriend, we want you to be here, we want to interrogate you, you need to report to the police, and so on and so forth. All that is going to be a very long journey for this Brazilian international to obviously see himself really getting to where he deserves to be. And I think the best doing for Gabriela was to see to it that Anthony just gets himself off the team of Manchester United. And no sooner Anthony went ahead to obviously get off the team, and obviously he got suspended, Gabriela never obviously put out anything else. That is it. Because his last message read that, how can a team like Manchester United, very reputable like that, keep a person on the team playing the ball when he obviously went ahead to assault me and beat me up. You understand? So it shows you exactly what she wanted, and that's what she wanted. That's why she has gone ahead to cool it off. And I think the moment she'll see Amtony back on the field of play for Man United, then she will obviously come out and raise her voice again. So her main aim was to see Amtony off the team of Manchester United. I think that was the aim, because he knows that Amtony loves to play football very much. This is his career. He's just in the start of his career because he's just 22 years of age, and he has a lot ahead of him because he's one of the prospectus players that Erik ten Hag really has, and believes that he can obviously become one of the best players in the world. So as it stands for this man, Amtony, it's not yet easy for him to get back to the club of Manchester United. That is it. I think he still has some months to obviously get this sorted, but the earlier the better. And you saw to it that the case of Greenwood took close to 18 months for the verdict to be given. You understand? Now, what of this of Amtony? Is Amtony going to hand over his phone to the police, and he's obviously going to be given green light to obviously come out and obviously play game or return to Manchester United? I doubt. I doubt. All I think is Amtony is going to come in through, be in contact with the police, and then he'll obviously have to leave the police. Then the police will obviously try to make thorough investigations. I don't believe that in 1 month or 2 months the police will have the verdict, or will have their verdict out. I don't really see it happening that way. I believe it's going to take some time, and that's why Ten Hag told us that we don't know how long this is going to take for Amtony to return to the club of Manchester United. That is the biggest undoing of this. I understand Amtony has been one of those players that has always not gone ahead to perform, but you would love him to be at the squad. Yes, because the few games Pelestri has gone ahead to put him through, he has gone ahead to really prove to the manager that I can do the job. That's what Pelestri has gone ahead to show the manager, that I can do the job, I can perform at better levels, and obviously get you some good output that Amtony cannot really offer to you. Now, people forget about the goal that Garnacho scored yesterday, the first goal when you're really scoring against Crystal Palace. The cutback or pullback for Dalot was really great, but that touch coming in from Pelestri, it was really magnificent. It was really a very, very good pass that had a lot of message, that you have a lot of space in front of you, put on your touch and go in for cutback. So Pelestri put in a lot of effort yesterday. He tracks back very well. He is a person who doesn't lose the ball. You know, I've always reiterated on this. This game of football is all about not losing the ball. Even if you have the ball forever and don't lose it, no one is going to fume at you. But people will fume at you because you've gone ahead to lose their ball. That is it. So the club of Manchester United is obviously still in talks with Amtony, and the investigations are really still ongoing to it that they really have a very good go with the police. But the beauty of this is that he's back in Manchester to obviously face it off with the police of Manchester, and then we'll obviously get to see what exactly is going to come in from those investigations being undertaken by the Manchester Greater Police. Good luck to Amtony, and we'll wait to see how that is going to happen and where it's obviously going to take you, because I know exactly what he's feeling, how he's feeling. I know he's really feeling bad, and it's not something that you can easily come and get used to, because it doesn't happen in a one day. It's not a one day affair. It's really a huge affair that you have to obviously come in through and don't take as a joke, because it might be taken as a joke and the police might make it turn out serious and really cost him maybe his career even. Now, I'm having Kitaita Julius. Hello, brother. David, thanks always updating us on whether it's going on whatever is going on in our team. Thank you very much for watching through. Then I'm having Bright Chibukie, United all the way. Thank you for watching through. Then Vijura Prita, let me come back and be training. Let him come back and be training alone instead of him being in Brazil. You never know, he can come back easily. So I think when he comes back, he'll be given chance to train at Carrington if at all he wants. That is it, because he's out of the first team, but he can train with the team and obviously see how things really go on. And we've not gotten to know what the women's team of Manchester United really has to say about Amtony, because the main reason as to why Greenwood never found himself back into the team of Manchester United was simple. Greenwood was blocked by the team of Manchester United, that is the women's team. So for this story of Amtony, we wait and see what the women's team have to say about it, because they might be the blocking factor to see to it that his doesn't go the way it's really wanted for Amtony. So we wait and see how Amtony comes in through, but I believe we are settling in well. We are settling in well without him, because the likes of Facundo Pelestri are putting in a shift, and the manager is really liking them. And trust me, no one is missing Amtony, but we don't want to see him go through that. We want him to really win the case, return back to Manchester United. If he doesn't and is found guilty, obviously he will serve the purpose for his own doing. That's what we want, and we don't want him to be into that position of being accused falsely. Let the police get us the real investigations, and then we'll get to know exactly what it's all about. Now, after that, let's talk about Erik ten Hag. Now, Erik ten Hag, he's really a very good manager, and we've seen him promote lots and lots of players into the starting 11 of Manchester United. One of those that is really impressing and broke through fast was Hannibal Garnacho. And yesterday went ahead and obviously scored a goal and had a very, very, very superlative second half. Now, Ten Hag was asked about Garnacho, and he said it's completely normal for a player of his age to have a lot of room for improvement. Everyone loves him, the fans love him, the team loves him. I loves, but we also have to be demanding with him and push him. So Ten Hag was responding to a question of Garnacho on as to why he started the first two games of the season and he never started a game again until yesterday. Remember, he started the game of Wolverhampton Wanderers, he started the games of Tottenham Hotspur, and he had a very abysmal performance, and that's why Ten Hag really benched him. Maybe he wanted obviously show him that the position is not yours, you need to obviously work hard for it. But yesterday, having been benched, Garnacho went ahead, obviously put in a shift that we also and obviously felt like, yeah, that is our boy, because he went ahead to score, and in the second half he was all over the pitch, and he had become a problem to that team of Crystal Palace. And to me, he really put in a very huge performance that scares Marcus Rashford. For me, it's really a different case altogether, and I really believe that lots of things are really going to happen, and obviously happen in the best way for Hannibal Garnacho, because when Garnacho performs well like he performed yesterday, you obviously get to know that players like Marcus Rashford will be under threat. That's what I want. I want to see to it that players are really under threat. Players have to be threatened, to see to it that they put in a shift that is really well deserved to bring their best efforts to the club, because when Marcus Rashford is being criticized by the fans of Manchester United, he needs to get to know that he's not safe. That is it. If you want to see your team perform at the best levels in the world, the players don't need to be in the comfort zone. And that's what Garnacho brings up to Rashford. Rashford is not going to be in the comfort zone. That is it. He's not going to be in that comfort zone, because he'll know that there is a player who is really going to do what he does on the field of play. That's why for me, I always call in for Garnacho to obviously have minutes, you know. But Ten Hag has always told us that he has to deserve to have minutes, like he said on Dan Go, that he deserves to have minutes. But for Garnacho, put in a very good shift yesterday. I loved it, and I think that's really one of the hugest doings for Erik Ten Hag yesterday, because we saw to it that the future of Manchester United is clear with the talent that he obviously portrayed on the field of play. Garnacho, Hannibal Mebry, Danny Go, Facundo Pelestri. There is Kobe Menu. There is Amad Diallo. Those are 6 players, and they are all into the first team of Manchester United. And every time he gives them a chance, they obviously put up the best they deserve. And for Garnacho, it's all up to him. He's a very good talent. He's a very good talent. He has every attribute that can make him one of the best. And one of the best things for me is that he has been talking to Cristiano Ronaldo ever since Ronaldo left Man United, you know. And Garnacho is having a very good role model with him. Ronaldo will tell him, you have to do ABCD to reach this level, and Garnacho will work hard. Remember, Ronaldo came in at Manchester United at the age of 18. Garnacho broke into the first team of Man United almost at the age of 18. That is it. And Ten Hag brought him on, and last season he really marked his territory into that United side. So, as it stands, it's Garnacho's time to shine, and Ten Hag knows that this boy is loved all over. You know how fans sing Viva Garnacho, Viva Garnacho, Viva Garnacho. Remember, before Ronaldo left, it was Viva Ronaldo. Now that song was shifted from Ronaldo to Garnacho, and Garnacho is really putting in a shift that most of you are obviously appreciating, and I think is obviously going to turn out one of the best players, because he's having one of the best managers who is good at grooming young talent, and he handles them well. He won't obviously settle for less. That is Erik Ten Hag. Even if you're a young lad, he won't hold you with soft hands. The way he holds Rashford is the way he's going to hold these young ones, because he knows that these young ones will get spoiled from the beginning of the way you obviously bring them onto the field of play. Now, I'm having Sniper Rifle Soldier. Let's pray for him. All right, Adepare Opayemi, hello, thank you for watching it through. Then Sniper Rifle Soldier, let's pray for him, because we need him at the team. Yeah, I think he's going to obviously get his stuff done, because for the Brazilian side it's done. Now he's coming to the Manchester Police to obviously have things to say to the police. Nelson Mwesigwa, good evening, RD motivator. For sure your updates anticipate United success. Erik Ten Hag should invite you on board for the strategic move in this. All right, maybe one day it will happen. We hand it to the Lord, the Creator, and see how everything really goes on as expected. Then I'm having John Manda. We need him back, because man, you bored. Listen what women. You know, in the Western world, a child, a woman, and an animal are really ahead of a man. I'm talking about a male creature. That is it. So if you offend a woman, a child, or an animal, you're obviously going to face it rough. You saw to it that Kat Zuma of West Ham, having beaten up a cat that saw him even get off the team of West Ham for some time, and then he got back. So that is really what it is in that world. Then we are having Ofoyuro Emmanuel. The girlfriend is just jealousy. Maybe Amtony promised to marry her. That's why she's accusing him. They have their own issues, but let's wait and see how the police is going to see the messages in the phone of Amtony and the rest, because it is really a huge case. By the way, it's a huge case, and what shows that it's a huge case, it's Amtony going off the team of Manchester United. That is it. If it was a small case, it wouldn't have been obviously hyped to this level, and Amtony would have been at the club of Manchester United. Bahati Xavius, hello brother, thanks for the show. United board should allow Amtony to play cause of our season fixtures. Players have to be available when needed by the team. I understand your case, but there is a case into play that Amtony has been really reported to police. He has a lot to answer. And by the way, it was a very good decision taken by the board and Amtony to obviously go off the first team of Man United, because look at what's happening at Manchester United. Harry Maguire staff, Amtony staff, the takeover staff, that they are leaks in the dressing room, poor performances, and if at all you hyped on that of Amtony, right? And he was among that team of United that played and couldn't obviously put in a result for the team of Manchester United. Obviously, every pundit would go for Amtony. That, look at the £85 million player who Ten Hag signed. He cannot even if he save the team because he has a lot on his head to carry. You get? I think it's better for him to heal that way, and his mentality won't be affected, and let him get this done. The moment he get this done and dusted, the best for us. That is it. Then I'm having Bahati. For the case of Rashford, he has to improve because he knows that he's a starter. The time of Marcus Rashford also be limited because of his selfishness. United are losing due to Marcus Rashford's selfishness. That's what I've told you, that we need Garnacho to obviously pick up to where he ended the season on. Because when Garnacho comes in through and puts in assists and goals, when he's coming off the bench, he'll be obviously telling Marcus Rashford that, please, I'm knocking on the door of the first team. So you need to obviously sort yourself. If you don't sort yourself, then you might find yourself in a position of not really getting to where you deserve to be as a player, because I'm here to take you on and I'm putting in these efforts to obviously stop you into that position. And I think that's what I've been saying, that Marcus Rashford is doing what he's doing because he knows that he's a starter. But when you look at the skill set of Garnacho, if he puts in what he's supposed to be putting in, he can obviously bench Marcus Rashford. And for Erik ten Hag, he can bench anyone provided there is a better player that is going to show us that he's really good. Look at Hannibal starting ahead of Donny van de Beek. Aren't you surprised? You know, it would have been Donny van de Beek starting ahead of Hannibal. But it's Hannibal starting ahead of Donny van de Beek. It shows you the wrath of Erik ten Hag and how he doesn't have favorites into this team. You go into that team on merit, you know. And I think even for Amtony, he only starts for Manchester United because Ten Hag wants a left-footed player playing on the right wing. That is it. And I think if at all Amad Diallo was here, sometimes or most times, Amtony would have gone ahead to test the wrath of Erik ten Hag, because would have gone ahead to bench him because he has a different kind of player altogether that can take us to where we deserve to be. So I think it's really what Ten Hag wants, and he's not a favorite. He's not practicing favoritism at Manchester United, but he wants a left-footed player onto that side. Now, for Rashford, it's all about Garnacho to raise his game. The moment Garnacho raises his game, he can bench Marcus Rashford. I know most people don't see this coming, but trust me, Garnacho is a star in making. He's loved. He's going to sell very many shares for the club of Manchester United. He's one of our own, and that's why he's being loved. Do you know why Rashford is the best shirt seller of Manchester United in the recent seasons, apart from that of Ronaldo? Because he is a born and bred from the academy of Manchester United. The same applies to Garnacho. Garnacho is seen as our very own, coming in from the academy. And remember, this was set up by Sir Alex Ferguson. These players from the academy have been part of us. And even those that came on young at the club and grew into great players have been loved very, very much. That's why you see it that David Beckham was a darling of many. Ronaldo was a darling of many at Man United. Ryan Giggs was a darling of many at Manchester United. You know, Paul Scholes was a darling of many at Manchester United. These were players that these fans saw when they are 16, 17 until their late 30s when they are playing for the club of Manchester United. So that's why they love Rashford. That's why they love Garnacho. And Garnacho has everything to obviously put this to the next level. Smash the like button close to 40 because we are having close to 50 people watching it through. I'm having David Zimla. I prefer Sancho than Amtony. I do, but I've told you the reason as to why Ten Hag plays Amtony ahead of Sancho, because Ten Hag wants a left-footed player onto the right attacking side of the midfield. And that's why I say when Amad Diallo comes in through, this guy, Amtony, might be in for it. That is it. Then Sancho is better than Amtony on the right wing. I know he's better, but we are told by Erik Ten Hag first that Sancho prefers to play on the left wing. I thought that Ten Hag was just putting it in as defense because Amtony is not really performing very well onto that side. But even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who signed him, recently put out a very huge interview, I think on Friday, in the Athletic concerning United and how he left it. He was asked about Jadon Sancho. He said Sancho wanted or prefers to be played on the left wing. So don't blame Erik Ten Hag on this. Sancho prefers to be played on the left wing, not on the right wing. It was also confirmed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the interview that he really carried on last week. You read it very well. Now, I'm having Hassan Visegera says, thanks brother, thank you Hassan for watching through. MC Loud Musa, thanks for the app. Thank you for updating us about Amtony. We want him back from Malawi. That is it. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But we will obviously find ourselves in a position of really doing the best. Thank you, people from Malawi, and thank you, Musa. Then Bahati Xavius, David, I think United board should respect the foreign players. For the case of Greenwood and Amtony, if he was English players, they wouldn't reach at that extent. I think when it's a law, it's a law. You know, when it's a law, it's a law. I know at United, when you had managers like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was really having a lot of love and favoring English players because he has it in his mentality that English players are the firm foundation that Sir Alex Ferguson built this club at. That is it, because these English players don't want to leave the Premier League to leave Manchester United. That's why you saw to it that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had it in mind, because Sir Alex Ferguson said that he had brought on Ronaldo and groomed him to be the next Ryan Giggs. And he knew that with Ronaldo, he would win very many Champions Leagues. You know, that's what he states in his book. And when Ronaldo left, he was disappointed, and this affected Nani to be given that role to be the main man of the team. Do you know why? Ferguson knew that this player's destination was to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid. That is it. So I want to let you know that with Erik Ten Hag in the building, no English player is really favored. Look at Sancho. He has been thrown on the bus. Look at Harry Maguire, dethroned off the captaincy. That is all the doing of this management and regime. So Ten Hag is not really that. And I think for Amtony, let him settle his case and we'll get back. Opio Ivan, good evening, Rokani. Would you please compare for me Amad Diallo and Amtony, and who should be given that position on the right wing? Obviously, I've always going to let you know that Amad Diallo is a better player than Amtony because of his end product. You know, in the game of football, you can do everything. You know, you can do the spins, you can do anything, the step overs, you can do the chop backs, you can do the step overs, everything, and excite the fans. But what matters in the game of football is the end product. I believe that sorry about that, Amad Diallo has a better end product to the game than Amtony, and that was the bad undoing. That was the worst undoing to the career of Amad Diallo, because if at all he was fit right now, he would have been enjoying this game. And I too believe, even if he was away, even if he was available, when Amtony was available, would have gone ahead to get enough playing time that would have seen him get into that level to obviously thrive at the club of Manchester United. Now, I'm having another story that I'm obviously ending this live with in the next minutes to come. It's all about Hannibal. We've been told by Sky Sports that at Turf Moor, Hannibal covered more ground than any other player on the pitch. He covered 12.9 kilometers more than any player this season. more than any United player since Ten Hag arrived. So this is what Ten Hag wants. He wants players that really perform very well. If at all you are a regular on this channel, you remember me coming out and obviously asking that I would love to know the distance that Hannibal Mejbri had to cover on that Saturday night. He really ran himself off, and we saw to it that he won that midfield. And that's why you saw to it that Ten Hag brought him in, because he gave us a different build altogether for the club of Manchester United. Ericsson couldn't cover that distance, and it was covered in by Hannibal. So Hannibal put in a very good shift for the club of Manchester United that night. And for that, we are here to obviously bring you what the distances are and pressures per 90 into this beautiful game of football. Now, when you look at pressures per 90, they're telling us that the players pressing the most in the Premier League this season, average per 90. Hannibal holds the record in the Premier League match this season. Now, ranking: Hannibal 100%. Rasmus Hojlund is second with 78.7%. Then Ryan Christie 76.1%. Zeki 74.8%. Luka Colosso 71.8%. That is it. Pressures per 90, and these players obviously putting in shifts that are really great for the club. So guys, you've seen it, that Ten Hag is going to have to groom a force that can run and run and run. And this shows you that it's not something that's going to happen. That's not going to happen in a one season. You see to it that there is a very huge improvement the second season. You saw it yesterday when Amrabat was in. As I told you, Amrabat was the missing piece in this jigsaw that Erik Ten Hag is trying to put together. Then Hassan Bisegora Qataris come to Man United and will replace Sancho and Amtony with Javi Simons and Kvaratskhelia coming in from Napoli. All right, thank you. That will be a very good cover-up. Bahati, Xavius, David, if United don't favor English players, is Mount worth £60 million? You've seen it. There is what we call the English tax, you know. He's not worth £60 million, but he's an English player. That is it. English players are sold expensively. I'm telling you, Declan Rice is not worth £105 million. His worthiness is like £60 million, but ended up at Arsenal at 105. You know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was not a £50 million player, but we paid £50 million for this player. So that's what English players are. They just sell them expensively. Do you know why? Because you need to be having a certain number of English players in your squad, and with their limited quality, obviously, when one is available in the market, they happen to obviously sell him expensively. That is it. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through. We call it a night. I'm obviously going to come back to throw in some recordings in here for you, but this is what I had for you. Thank you for watching through. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in on daily. Lastly, David Zimla, is Sancho willing to ask for forgiveness? So far, he's not willing to ask for forgiveness. His apology is way far from expected, and Erik Ten Hag is keeping his stance. If Sancho doesn't apologize, he's not going to come close to the first team. So guys, thank you very much. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living to God bless you abundantly.